Hi, good evening, good morning, and good afternoon for every OTEA members, our friends and guests from around the world. Today is our OTEA second meeting for 2022. I'm Sean, moderate for today's meeting. Today, we have based Tsou to share her experience about how she strive in the US through the networking skill. A famous actor, Donna Sutherland, has a famous quote say, you want to be success in the US, you need some talent, a lot of hard working, and a little bit of luck. As a Taiwanese engineer, many have talents and diligent working attitude. A good networking will bring a final piece that you need to be success in the foreign country. We will welcome Beth to share her valuable experience. Beth graduated from the National Cheng Kung University in civil engineer in 2008. She started her master's degree in construction management at the University of Washington in 2015. After graduate, she joined the Jacobs, one of the largest contracts in the US, and worked in the Boeing field in Everett until 2020. Just like everyone knows, in 2020, the COVID hit the world severely and a lot of uncertainty at that time. Boeing started to let go of his employee and the contract at that time. So Beth left the Jacobs to work a general contract in Seattle. Unfortunately, after 3 months, because the project shut down, she was let go. She quickly get another job within a month. That's really amazing, tough task. Because her networking skill, she started working in the company called the Land Construction Corporation. She has been there for years, so until now. She think after her graduate from school, she get all her job because her networking and how he management his networking. This year, she thinks networking benefit not only her career, but also her life in general. So she will share with us her experience, how to do the networking in the foreign country, and how to benefit from what she did. Let's welcome Beth Tsou.
Thank you, Sean, for the introduction. It is really my honor to be here, sharing my experience and what I see in US with you. So networking, you might hear this term already from the previous OTEA online sharing events. All of the speakers actually talk about networking is the best way to get a job offer. But what is networking? Why do I need it? Why is it important? If you have this question in mind, that's normal because networking culture is not something we grew up with in Taiwan. As Sean just mentioned, after graduating from grad school, I got all my jobs through networking. Sometimes I got hired without an interview. I don't mean to brag. My point is, with the right mindset and a little bit persistent, you can do this too. For those who are looking for a career in overseas, this presentation is for you. Here is my agenda today. So from today, you're going to learn 3 things. First, what is networking? The definition of networking and the purpose of networking. Second, why do you need it? How the networking is relevant to your short-term goal and your long-term goal in US or whatever country you are going into. The last, I'm going to share some tips with you, simple, effective tips that can help you build your own network from ground zero. Okay, let's get into it. First, what is networking? Let's go back to the definition. According to Oxford Dictionary, networking is an action or a process of interacting with other people in order to, first, exchange information. Second, to develop professional and social contacts. In short, networking is a process of making connections and building relationships. The purpose of networking is connecting with friends and sharing experience. You can find like-minded people who share the same interests with you or share the same vision with you. Most importantly, to facilitate business relationships. Because in reality, the people around you contribute to your success. And with the connections with your network, can provide you with advice and context which can help you make informed career decisions. Okay. Now you know what is networking and why do you need it? Does that relevant to your short-term goal or your long-term goal in US? Let's talk about short-term goal right here. When you just arrive in US, you get a degree, you need to find a job. You need to stand with your own feet. Okay, in terms of get a job offer, how network can help you. Here, I'm showing you 2 pie chart. I'm gonna repeat what Edward Wang shared before in the January online session. Over 90% of new grads got their first job offer from networking. So you should too. Look at the left pie chart. Only if you don't use any connection or you don't use any network, you just apply online. It's about like 5% of your resume submit will result in an interview. That's quite low, right? But in contrary, if you go out, build your network and asking for job leads, 95% of networking interactions will result in an interview. That's almost guaranteed an interview or a job offer. So lastly, I want to show you this iceberg chart, the famous one. If you just browse online, either go to a company website or job searching website like Indeed or Monster.com, there are plenty of websites US have. The tip of the iceberg, which float above the water, is the job openings you can see that is advertised publicly. So you will have only access to the small amount of job opportunities. But if you have someone who already in the industry can give you information and hook you to the potential job opportunities, you can have access to the big chunk of opportunities hidden under the water. In short, networking not only brings you more interviews and job offers, it can even help you find unadvertised job opportunities. Actually, that's what happened to my current job. When I interview with my current company, they don't have openings for the position I'm in right now. But after the interview, the employer, they liked me. And also I have a very strong recommendation. I have a very strong reference. So they create this position for me. I'm a living proof of how networking can find you hidden job opportunities that you don't even know yet. So what about you find a job offer in US, in a foreign country? That's pretty exciting, right? But what's next? Do you stop building your connection there? No. Why? Because you have your personal life outside of your work. You want to live a full life. You want to achieve success. You want to get acknowledged by the society. You want to get accepted by them, by the community. Or even you want to pass down your legacy to your children and grandchildren. We are thinking about long-term right here. So how networking is relevant to our long-term goal. Let me step aside. Let me introduce you a very well-known theory in sociology. The theory is the form of capitals by French sociologist Pierre Bourdieu. The theory is quite complicated. I'm not going to burden you with the details. Here, I offer you a very simplified version. According to a study by Pierre Bourdieu, if you want to move up in the social economic ladder, you need to possess 4 forms of capitals as your social assets. These assets contain tangible ones and intangible ones. Tangible ones are economic capital and symbolic capital, which are the 2 items on the right side. Economic capital is very simple. How much money you have, your bank balance, how much money in your saving account, that's economic capital. Symbolic capital can be awards, can be diplomas, can be qualifications. For example, you have a PhD degree, that's your symbolic capital. If you have a professional engineering license, that's your symbolic capitals. Aside from the tangible assets, you also need intangible assets. They are invincible, but they exist. That's cultural and social capital on the left. The cultural capital includes beliefs, like a religious beliefs, the common sense, and your value. A social capital is a connection you have with the society, such as the membership in the society, your relations, your network, and even alliance are part of your social capital. Okay, why do I bring this up? Why is that relevant to your long-term goal? Because we, as immigrant engineers, we usually are rich in tangible assets like economic and symbolic capitals, but we are poor in cultural and social capital. We often have a very good job, we earn good money, we have very higher degree, but we lack of connections. We don't get a lot of opportunities. You don't get a lot of job offers. I'm not gonna sugarcoat these. This is our problem. We have to face it. So you want to get accepted by a society, but don't expect to blend into society only with your wealth, with your money. You are not isolated from the society. That means you have to invest in the community. You have to establish connections. What we have to do is to build your social and cultural capitals, increase the balance in these two accounts. Well, keep in mind, social and cultural capitals are harder to obtain compared to economic and symbolic ones. It takes time. I'm in the United States for over a decade. Until today, I'm learning every day. Keep building my social skills and cultural sense every day. So we talk about what is networking, and now you understand the importance of networking. That comes to our last part, how to build your own network. Let's take a look. First, let's take a look at our immediate networks. We have family, we have friends, we have classmates if you are students. You have alumni and coworkers, colleagues if you graduate and in the workforce for a while. These comprise your social network. Well, you have a list of your current contacts, and you can start thinking about who of these people can connect you with. And if you find your current network doesn't provide you with the information you need, or the opportunities you need, or the vision you need, what do? Don't worry, there are ways you can expand your network. Here are 3 things you can do. First is join a professional society, like American Civil Engineering Society or OTEA is a very good place. In the professional society, you'll find the seniors, the people who are in the same career but senior than you. You can possibly find mentors who give you valuable career advice. That's one way. And the second way is you can join a group or a club that relates to your interest or hobby. Make friends in your leisure time. From interacting with the people outside of work, it helps you hone in your social skills and build confidence. And last, volunteering. This one I highly recommend because all of the world's religion advocates the concept of being service. Bible says, whoever wants to be a leader among you must be your servants. So in United States, people will respect you more when they learn you devote your talents in a meaningful vocation. To the young engineers just get out of school, actually, it's better to put your volunteering experience in your resume than your GPA. The employers look for that. Just some tips for you. Okay, now you know the ways to expand your network. Where to meet new people? Where can you find your potential connections? Well, here I'm introducing social events. The social events is a casual or formal events specifically designed for social interactions. There are formal social events and informal ones. The formal social events can be an organized job fairs provided by your school. It can be industry conferences. It can be social functions or even competition. Yes, Olympic is actually a huge social event. And informal social events can be conducted more casually. It can be a coffee date, can be an informational interview with someone in the industry senior than you. It can be a dinner or lunch with an alumni, or even you join a Facebook group, can be an informal social events, like join our OTEA online group. And if you are sitting here listening to my presentation, guess what? Yes, you're attending an informal social event right now. So reaching out, let's say you got one's contact info, you got their email, you got their business card from a social event. You meet this person. Does that mean you have a relationship, you have a connection? No. Collecting business card doesn't equal to real relationships. There's one last step you have to do, is to take initiative and reach out to them after the events. You may feel awkward reaching out to people you don't know very well, acquaintances. But however, most people actually enjoy taking some time out of their day to reflect their professional life and give advice to you, to someone who interested in their field. So I'm going to show you 2 examples of how you can write a short message and reaching out to the people you want to connect with. My first example is sending a message on the social media. Here, I'm reaching out to Irene. I met her on a friend's party. So here's how you can write the message. First, you tell them how you find them. You can say, hey, I found you online. I learned about you from your website. I learned about you in the so-and-so function. Yes, and then show them you have interest in them. Express interest and ask them to connect. You can say, I found what you're doing is very interesting, or that's the direction I want to go. I would like to know more of it. And I hope you don't mind me reaching out. Add me to your connection. And just keep it simple, because you don't have to write a very super long novel to send it to them. Sometimes the message box has very limited space, like LinkedIn. They only allow like 200 words. So keep it simple. They get it. The one who familiar with this networking culture, they get your message and they will accept. My second example is an email example. If you have their email, you can write to them. Follow the same structure with my previous email. First, how you find them. Here, I'm writing to Matthew. I met him on the online events. He was a speaker, and I'm interested in his career. So I wrote to him, trying to make a connection. And a sincere flattery. And in the email, you can talk about a little bit more about your current status and where you want to go. What's the direction you want to go? And third, very important, ask for a one-on-one meetup. Ask for a coffee or a call, and make sure that you provide some time, the time you're available. Let them choose from the time you provided them. It's a more effective way to secure a one-on-one meetup. Yes, and lastly, if you are looking for a job transition or looking for a new job, you're looking for some advice, you can attach your resume. It's optional. Just let them know what your background looks like. And the good news is, after 2020, the pandemic hits, people are more open to online networking. Before, people may go to a coffee shop like Starbucks to do networking. Now it's moving online. So people are accepting Google Meets, like Zoom call or Skype call. That's your advantage. You can reach out to people in a different time zone, in a different place, easier. So here are 2 examples I have for you. How to follow up. Let's see. What if you send an email and you never hear the response? That's possible. The rejection is not easy to take. I have plenty of rejections before, but here I have some tips to help you how to handle these. So first, you send a follow-up email, short, quick follow-up email after a week of your first email. And if you don't hear from them after 2 follow-up emails, I would say, give up, move on to the next person and try to make connection. Don't waste your time sitting there wondering, why doesn't he get back to me? Is he too busy? Is my mail went into the junk? Whatever reason it is, maybe they're not interested. That doesn't matter. Don't waste your time wondering, frustrating, worrying. Just move on. Last, I have a little tips of how to increase your chance of your email being read. Well, in my industry, I'm in the construction management. People usually go to work very early, start from maybe 6 o'clock to 7:30 in the morning. So I will make sure I send out my email no later than 8 o'clock in the morning. Why? Because in the early morning, people getting to the office or home office, they are not getting to the intensive meeting or work right away. They usually get coffee first, chat with the coworkers a little bit, and then, most important, read the email. So if you get your email in at the right time, that increases the chance of that email being seen, being opened, and being replied. This is my real example. I'm writing to my future boss at Jacobs. So I was writing a follow-up email asking the status. Can I have a quick call with him? Very short. But I sent out this email very early, before 6 o'clock in the morning. And in 2 hours, I got his reply. And from there, we got a phone call and I got hired with no interview. Okay, that's almost reached to the end of my presentation. I do have a few last words for you. Actually, I want everyone to remember collecting business card from a social event doesn't mean real connection. You have the person's email, have their contact info, doesn't mean you establish connection with them. Real relationship building is done primarily in one-on-one, face-to-face settings. That means you have to take initiative. You cannot expect others to babysit you and spoon feed you. Your real network or connection is only one call away, one message away, or one email away. And lastly, it takes time to build relationships. If you start to build your network when you desperately need a job, it is too late. So I urge you to start early. Start now. Don't wait. Actually, these networking topics is perfectly aligned with our OTEA's goal, because OTEA, we are an online networking group for those who seek a career in overseas. So here I have a little assignment, a little challenge for all of the audience, all of you. After this session, start reaching out to the people you want to connect with in these events in OTEA. It can be a former speaker like Edward, like Jaylene, like Ming Hong, or someone in the audience. The best things is you don't have to worry about rejection, because here, all of the OTEA member, we gather here because we have the same vision. We have the same goal, is to build connection. Okay, so we can sit here, talk about how to build connection for the next 2 hours. But if you don't take actions, you don't get real connections. So use my template, use my example, make that call, write that email. I promise you, your work won't go in vain. You harvest from your hard work, because I am the living proof from my past experience. So here is a final bonus slide. I have some reference for you in both books and movies. The topics ranging from how to find the career path that fits you, that you love, and to the modern working environment, and to how to improve your English writing and how to have the right mindset. Highly recommend Edward's books, the fifth one, and some classic movies, so you can build your social skills and having better cultural sense in USA. Okay, that's all of my sharing for today. Is my email. I will expect to get some emails from one of you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. It's an excellent talk, and it's great to share your experience. Now we are open to question and answer for anyone have a question. I think this is especially helpful for a lot of graduate students. I know we have a lot of students in our meeting. I think this is the time to ask, how do you get the networking? How do you find a job? I think Base is a great example how to strive in the US, in a foreign country.
Yes, please ask me a lot of questions. I have a lot of real experience, real stories to share. Yeah, don't be shy.
So best first question for you. How do you know your Jacob boss? Like, how do you know him? In what occasion, or how do you build a relation before you even apply the job?
Oh yes, actually I know him through my senior. My friend. He's actually my teacher at school. His name is Jeff. He's pursuing his PhD degree in the University of Washington. And I reached out to him to find job leads, and he introduced me. He's a co-founder before, like they run company together before. That's how I know my boss in Jacobs.
Okay, so you know him like at the UW, and at that time, do you interact with him often, or it's just like in some event?
Actually, no, I didn't meet my boss until I got hired. So I know his friends. His friend is my teacher and classmates, kind of in school. Yes. So for the young engineers, classmates, teachers are very good resource of getting job leads. Yeah.
I think a lot of people get the first job because your teacher is your reference, or they already know where the job opening.
Oh yes, for sure. And actually, if you don't ask, you never know. A lot of people, they're actually willing to help you. Yes. So you'll be surprised once you take actions.
Okay, first of all, I would like to compliment today's presentation. That's very inspiring and very informative. My question to Beth is that how do you find out the level of person that is suitable for your networking? For instance, you may bump into a high-level supervisor or even president of the company. Does that make any difference? Thank you.
That's a great question. Thank you, Edward. Well, I was expecting some sort of question. So actually, if you wanna get a job, I would say, in terms of getting job leads, find your potential hiring manager or your potential boss is very important, and it depends on your own level. For example, you are just out of the school. You don't want to reach too high or too low. You don't want to go to an intern because an intern is not able to hire you. You want to, if you are looking for a big company, maybe you don't want to get to the CEO like Jeff Bezos with Amazon. He doesn't have time for you. So you have to do your own research, find the right level, maybe a mid-level or senior level position in the area you're interested in, and target these few, narrow it down to this group. It will be more effective for you. And also, oftentimes those mid-level, senior level managers, they are looking for potential employees too. So, so they will happy to most of the time they will happy to spend some time with you, sharing with you their company culture, what they are doing. Yes. So I would say do your research and making your target network is very important here. Thank you, Edward.
So Beth, how do you maintain your networking in the normally? Like you don't meet these people all the time, right? Because they are in different company. How do you maintain this relationship? How, if you don't see them very often, can you give some tips?
Thank you, Sean. That's a great question. So I know everyone's busy. Everyone has a full plate on their hand every day. So actually, occasionally a simple simple message like a Happy New Year message or a Merry Christmas message is very helpful. Or sometimes a quick call around Thanksgiving, they will appreciate it. around Thanksgiving, I will call my old teacher. He introduced me to a lot of potential job opportunities, although I didn't get any one of them, but they are always very happy to hear from me. So you just have to put a little bit of effort, then you can keep the relationship going. And if you are really too busy, they will understand, because often they are busy too. Yes.
Yeah, I think a short message is great way, especially during the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
People feel
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Have some comments I like to add, with respect to your introduction about how to reach out people, right? And what I find out is that sometimes you just make a phone call to somebody out of nowhere. Right now, nowadays, if that was 20 years ago, everybody can understand. But if that's current day, I think some people feel like offended. They feel like their privacy, or it may be interrupting on something that they're in the middle of something, right? So what I would do is that I will start with the email, right? Just kind of introduce myself, get into the door, make some impression, and then maybe follow with a text to schedule some time, especially for someone that's really busy, right? Like upper management, you like to schedule some appointment with them ahead of time before you make that phone call. That would be my advice to everybody. So
yes, thank you very much, Wen, because thank you for the addition, because yes, time, we have to admit, time is different now. That is that then, this is now. So actually, with my Jacob's experience, I write to my my boss first, then I schedule a phone call with him. It's perfectly related to your sharing, Wen.
I just got 2 points to kind of emphasize on this. First of all, your first email to tell what is your intention. You want to close the network. You want to create a better network. It's very important to get a very nice impression. You don't just go straight and say, I want to get a job.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
What do you want to do? Second, maybe third. First, introduce yourself. Tell people a little about yourself before you tell them what do you want from them. Young generation just don't have that. I'm sorry. You got to tell me who you are before you ask me to do you a favor. You don't come to me and ask me a favor. That's definitely a no-no. And second, I want to say that if like you're looking for your jobs now, but you got to know what you're looking for. You got to know what field you want to do. You got to know what you're really interested. Do you really want to work for that company? After you use all your network, people like you. Your manager like you. They want to take you. And all of a sudden you say, I have a better offer. That's kind of burn your bridge too for step 2. So you kind of want to know what you want. You can't just shoot any bird on the sky. You have to pick and choose your target.
Yeah,
so using the network carefully with that. That's
very true. Thank you, Vincent. It's really good comment. So Ming Hong has one question. Do you suggest creating a networking through hobby? Does that works? By the way, unbelievable presentation.
Oh, thank you, Ming Hong. Very appreciate that. Creating a network through hobby or your interest may not be a very direct or immediate help to, if you want to find a career, if you want to find a job yesterday or right now, but it definitely enrich your life, and you never know. Maybe you met some potential your co-workers or your boss or your future like a co-founder of the companies through the hobbies. That's possible. Actually, the sky is the limit. And actually, I want to share a very amazing stories with everyone, because I called Ming Hong like a week ago, and he told me he met Korean immigrants in the sports racquetball, I guess, in the sports. And Ming Hong suggest him to because the Korean immigrant, he doesn't have a degree, so it's hard for him to get a higher paying job in Australia. So Ming Hong suggests him, why don't you learn a trade and you have the skills and you can get higher paying jobs. So that Korean immigrants took his advice and went to learn how to repair the hail damaged cars. It's a very specialized trade. Not many people have that skills. So once you have it, you can be very profitable in the job market. So now that Korean friend is moving to another area in Australia and start his new life, new career. That's a perfect example I want to share with everyone. So see, that's the power of networking, even through a hobby. So thank you, Min Hong, of sharing that story with me. Now everyone, with everyone.
Also, thanks, Beth. We just had a dinner with that friend last night.
Oh my gosh.
And he will start his new job next week, so it should be fun tomorrow. Oh, thanks you share the story with others.
We have another question from Professor Liu. It's an intern is a necessary experience in searching for a job in the international company. Because many our Taiwanese students went to the Korean school just for the PE exam right after they graduate. So how does your suggestion about the internship?
Well, in the US, I would say if you graduate without any internship, it's very unlikely you'll have a job, because internship is soon I joined the grad school, I find everyone has it, and they work very hard getting an internship experience. And the undergrad students, they start early. They start from their junior years, senior year. So when they graduate, they have a well-established networks. They know several companies. They work with several companies already. So actually, they got more job offers and faster than international student. Yeah, so I think that's a different mindset. You can see the different mindset in Taiwan and comparing US. In US, a lot of students, they get their PE license, their EIT license. Yes, they get it, but gradually in their working experience, they get past the test, they get the license. Yes, but they won't. They are not rushing into get a license right away, because having an engineering license here in US is, the idea is kind of different. I know back in Taiwan, you have the engineering license, you kind of won a trophy and you put it on your wall, and from then on, you know everything. You don't have to learn anything new. But it's not the case in US. When you got your PE, you have to spend time to obtain it. You have to pay a fee. You have to do registration every year. You have to attend training. So you have still have to work hard to honing your professional skills. That's a difference. So I hope that offer you some insight of the different cultural background.
Another reason is the PE, the price is pretty high. The registration is 1,000. It's not like in Taiwan, it's 1,000 Taiwan dollars.
Yes.
It's 1,000 US dollar.
But the company usually pay for that.
Yes,
Even
if you pass it.
Even the
Yeah.
class.
If you
need to
pass
pay.
it.
Yes.
No.
Pass
They,
it.
I think most companies just pay for that. Even you fail, they still pay for that.
All my company, I know it's like if you pass, they pay. If
Yeah.
you don't pass, that's on yourself.
You
Yeah.
guys know that the new rule, you can take it right away, right after school. You don't have to wait for 5
Yeah,
years.
they change the rule. You can take it out,
Yeah.
but you still need a 2-year experience to get your PE. You just pass the exam.
Yeah, you pass the test first.
Actually, it
and
depends
once you
on
get
the
experience,
state.
You can get it.
It depends on the state. So in California, you can take it right after EIT, but here in Washington, you still have to wait 4 years before you get experience. So it depends on the state.
Yeah, state even, I think in California, you can take immediately, but you don't get a PE. You don't get
won't
license.
get it until you get your experience fulfilled.
Yeah, you still need an experience, then you get the license. You just pass the exam. Okay, one more question from Muhammad. Thank you, your beautiful presentation. As Muhammad say, he feel from his experience that people only recommends only if they know the person personally. So hard is the way to do that. Like, how do you make people know you more personally or more familiar about you? Not just the, change, like you say, change the business card in the conference. How do you make people know you and interest in you?
Well, thank you, Mohammed. That's a great question. Actually, Vincent just touched a little bit on that. Actually, the people have to know you before they can help you. Well, they at least you, for example, if you're finding a job, at least they have to know your background, your if you have any relevant experience and your work ethic and your credibility. So that's something they have to know about you to be able to recommend you, offer you job leads. Yes, and if they recommend you to a job offer and you did poorly, actually that's a sabotage for their own reputation. So people are very careful about that. For sure, you can share some personal information. Well, not the details like I had a bad breakup yesterday with my boyfriend. Not that kind of detail, but think about something that relevance, that transferable skills that you can apply to your jobs. That's how you build your credibility with other people. Yes. Hope
I can
that
add the
offers some input.
I can add one point for the new graduate students. If you're looking job, go to the conference, then try to publish a paper. Even you don't publish paper, you do the presentation, because that's the best way to let the senior people know you, and you demonstrate your skill, your knowledge, just simple through the presentation. That's a very quick way to let people recommend you. We have another question from Oliver. Thanks, Beth. Bravo. Do you think joining a professional engineering associate can enlarge your networking in States?
Oh, for sure. Here's my real example. So many years ago, when I just arrived in the States, back then I know Edward Wang already. He suggested me to join the AACE, the chapter, with the state I was in. So I went to events, one or two, and in there I got advice from VP of a company said, hey, actually American Engineer Association, they have a younger engineer chapter. You can reach out to them. That's a way to expand your network. And I met another engineer. She's a Taiwanese immigrant. And I asked her out for coffee, and she ended up buying me lunch. She says, in US, yes, you have your technical skills, but you have to know how to social too. That's the way it brings you jobs and opportunities. Yeah, so these was 10 years ago, and I believe now it's still the same. So Oliver, yes, join an engineering association definitely can brings you a lot, expand your opportunities in the States. Yes.
So when you know people in the you're like a professional event or a social event, in addition to talk about your background, yourself, how do you keep the conversation going? How do you need to learn some soft skill, or you cannot talk to the people about all your stuff in an hour, right?
Yes. Thank you, Sean. That's a great question, because we will be too stressful. You talk about work 24/7, and we as a person, we have lives outside of work. And I would suggest in the social events, just take something very light first. You can talk about like your hobby. You talk about the weather. Talk about traffic. Talk about, hey, how do you know the host, or how do you know these events? Something like that. Something very light, or share travel experience, or like a life experience in other country. If you have overseas experience, that's some topic you can share with them. And it's like we won't, like, no pressure, just chit chatting. These kind of small talk is actually a pretty important. That's a pretty important part of the social interaction. What to avoid is rude questions like politics or religions, or how much do you make? What kind of car are you driving? What's the net worth of your house? Those are rude questions you have to avoid. And believe me, I got these questions in some social events before. So the rules of thumb is avoid the topic that's below your neck. That means no illness, no physical illness generally, and no religions or politics point of views. Yeah, simple as that for everyone's reference.
We all know we can talk about national park with Wayne.
Well,
Yes.
I'm gonna talk to
yes.
you for
well,
hours.
I think that's a very niche area. Not everybody's interested in national park. As I have
Travel-
learned.
Great
Travel
idea.
always
Let
a
me
good
share
topic.
one with you. I go to the conference a lot every year because I got a PE, so I need the PDH, so I need it all the time. So we go to different cities. A lot of time we go to Orlando, we go to New Orleans, we go to San Diego, we go to San Antonio, and we are all travelers. We're not from local. So the great opening will be, hey, where did you go for dinner last night? What you found funny here? Anything interesting here? Do you have any recommendation? You know, when you go to a conference, everybody's not from local. You could just open your mouth and ask, and they will be loving to share what they had yesterday.
Thank you,
Yeah, and
Vincent.
one
Those are
thing I
great
like to-
points.
Yeah, one thing I like to add is that in the U.S., sports is also very important.
Sports is
Icebreaker.
it's a little tricky too. If you are in a different team, then sometimes it's like the air is a little tense.
Yeah, don't bring 49ers to Seahawks.
Well, that's why don't declare the team that you're rooting for until you have a conversation with somebody.
Okay.
And
Jasmine
also-
has one question.
Before I do a quick question for Beth, first I would like to thank you for your fantastic presentation. And I think you are so brave. Yeah, honestly, well, I remember when I just graduated from school, and I think I have no courage. I don't have the courage to reach out to people. And after 20 years work experience in this industry, now I have the courage to reach out to people and to accept the fact that if nobody wants to answer my email. Yeah, so I think as an Asian female engineer, you are brilliant. And I think everybody should applause for you.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Yeah, because I totally understand as an Asian and female engineer, actually we are minority. Yeah, so you should have a very strong mindset for yourself. Okay, my question is, as we know, LinkedIn is very popular for our professional networking. Yeah, so now I have two scenarios for you. First, if someone they want to connect with you, but you don't know them before, yeah. So will you accept the invitation for connection? I think scenario one is you don't have common connections. Yeah, and scenario two is you don't know them before, but you have the same connection. Yeah, so from these two scenarios, what will you do?
Okay, thank you, Jasmine, for the great question. First, I'm gonna answer the questions you have. For these two scenarios, actually, I will accept them both. I will accept them both because until you have the one-on-one chat, you are not sure. Well, nowadays you can have 1,000 Facebook friends, but it means merely nothing to you. So until you engage that one-on-one chat, that face-to-face chat, either online or offline, it really doesn't mean much. Even on LinkedIn, I would say, even on LinkedIn. So in your case, I will accept both. Yes. And Jasmine, I'm very happy that you bring up the cultural that being a minority in US and being a females, because I do get a lot of rejections before. But I wanna say to everyone, when you get rejections, you got turning down for opportunities. and you are so discouraged, ask yourself, why? Why am I doing this? For what? Ask yourself these questions. Only when you can convince yourself why you are doing this, for your family, for your future, for whatever. That's a power that keep you moving forward. That's your strength to make you put those bad experience behind and keep moving forward. Yes, I have friends that she reached out to a potential boss on LinkedIn, and him end up texting her, "Hey, you're pretty. Would you be my girlfriend?" True story. Yes. So thank you, Jasmine. Yeah, great question. Thank you.
I would like to add something to the discussion on LinkedIn is that nowadays anybody can just set up a new account at LinkedIn, use somebody else's picture, and then make up a story about yourself. So it's very tricky. So sometimes you have to use your judgment. Right? It depends on the content that you're willing to share in LinkedIn. You know, I think like when I manage my Facebook friends, I normally do not accept invitation from a stranger because I post some picture about my families. But LinkedIn is a professional network, and you actually, unless you post a lot of private stuff, most of the time, just like what Beth said, you know, I'm not too concerned about that. But I do keep an eye on somebody that's like a brand new person out of nowhere. They only have 1 or 2 connections. Mm-hmm. And what I've seen recently, like in Hong Kong or Canada, I mean, looks like some people trying to take advantage of those new accounts and then maybe scanning somebody. So that's when you need to be careful in that kind of social networking. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Wen, for the addition. That's a very great point. Yeah, because we all see scamming like online, like the Netflix new latest documentary, Tinder Swindler. Yeah, many of you have watched that. So yeah, trust your intuition and use your best judgment. Yes, thank you, Wen.
Okay, thanks, Base, and thank you everyone to join today's February meeting. Now we will enter to the second phase. Now we'll open for Mandarin speak.
Mm-hmm. I want to thank all of you who add comments or questions, because of not only me, because of you who make this presentation great, who makes this presentation more complete too. So thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Base.
Yes.
Good presentation.